Hello everyone, my name is Rochelle Innocent and I'm the founder and CEO of Project Purpose. Welcome to our channel. Our community is focused on fostering the intellectual and character development in children. We do this through our parent-child workshops that are focused on 4 themes: autonomy, self-efficacy, compassion, and self-concept in order to cultivate grit, perseverance, and resilience in each child. And we are so thrilled to be offering one of the first of its kind digital, virtual, and continuous learning environments, enabling parents and children to connect from all around the world. At Project Purpose, our overarching mandate is to renew and rebuild family, community, and relationships. Our different social media platforms provide us with an opportunity to have discussions on all topics that relate to family, community, and relationships with ourselves as well as with others, with a primary focus on mental health and education. More precisely, the ways that the institutions of mental health and education play a role and have played a role in our societies at large. These discussions and debates provide us with an opportunity to think critically about what needs to change within these structures for us to live up to our bold slogan, support, protect, and empower each child through youth-focused development, better known as leadership in juvenescence. We recognize that in valuing our children's leadership potential, this also translates as recreating and co-creating environments both socially and politically that will enable our children to thrive. For those of you who are particularly keen on the topic, we also write thought pieces every other Sunday, and we are dropping a thought piece this upcoming Sunday, so definitely be sure to meander over to the website and check out our online content. If it is the case that you are looking for a listening alternative, well, we're available on 10 different podcast platforms for your listening leisure, and we provided you with access to the links in the description down below. Now, as is the convention, be sure to subscribe, hit that post notification bell so that you are aware of every time we post. And of course, if you like these conversations and you want to keep them going, like, comment, and share this segment. Let's get into it. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you who are new, we cover topics that relate to mental health, mental wellness, and education on a week-by-week basis. And today our topic of discussion is mental wellness. This is part 2 in our series on how best to manage worry. And then the first part of our series, our conversation, revolved around different habits to break as it relates to worrying. So engaging in behaviors that ended up doing better for our overall well-being and breaking away from the tendency to overanalyze, to catastrophize, and to intellectualize. And we talked about in our part 1 of our video series on how to manage the habit and the behavior of worry. And I talked about different behaviors that I have substituted on the use of catastrophizing, intellectualizing, and overanalyzing that have helped me manage my worry much better. And in this video, we're going to be talking about the counter behaviors to worrying. So what behaviors we should be engaging in order to feel more present, to be more joyful, and to really just appreciate each day for the gift that it is. And that might sound corny, but I do believe that the present, being able to stay in the present, is a luxury that not all of us have access to. Some of us are stuck in the past, and that comes with its own maladaptive tendencies. And some of us are stuck in the future. We're stuck worrying about events that have yet to take place, and the future in and of itself is uncertain. And if we are uncomfortable with uncertainty, then we can be stuck in a place of anxiety. So I want to talk about there's different ways that I stay present, and in staying present, it gives me so much peace of mind. It allows me to tap into happiness and joy because there's so much gratitude that I find in my present moment. There's so much that I have to be grateful for despite some of the chaos and some of the events and circumstances that I'm going through and that I'm dealing with. So the first habit that I have learned to help me protect my peace, maintain my energy, and stay away from worry is to be mindful of dwelling. And dwelling is like dwelling on different thoughts, on different patterns of thoughts, on different outcomes that are important to me but are beyond my realm of control or that have taken place, and in dwelling on them is really not doing anything other than putting me in a a spiral or in a cycle that can be defeating, that can be discouraging, and that can just be a little bit discombobulating sometimes, depending on the spiral or the cycle that I'm in. And I've learned to be cognizant of dwelling. And it's different for each of us. We could be engaged in a specific task, and because that task doesn't require 100% of our concentration, we allow ourselves to drift into dwelling on different situations that we hope to come up or that have come up already. And I think it's always really important, if you want to protect your peace and stay present, is to catch yourself when you're dwelling and to put like a cap on it. Do not spend too much of your time dwelling, or I'm telling you, it's going to lead you either to anxiety or worry about future events that are uncertain or past events that are already gone. So definitely be mindful about dwelling, and to stay present, catch yourself when you're dwelling and then focus on the task in front of you. So sometimes you split our tension between dwelling about different events or thoughts that take place or thoughts that have taken place, and then trying to be in the work that it is that we're doing. And I'm like, you know what? I would much rather take all of my attention and be fully present in this task than take half of my attention and allow that half to cause me to spiral or to dwell in thoughts or thinking patterns that are just not good for me. So that's one way that I curb worry. But rather than just curbing worry, I allow myself to step into a state of peace of mind, and feeling good and comfortable with where I am in life, which can be a process. And that brings me to my second point, which are outcomes that are beyond our control should also be beyond our scope of attention. And this is something that I've had to really learn, because it's very easy to ruminate on outcomes that are beyond our realm of control, especially if you feel like your life is getting to be so chaotic and there's so many things that you would like to take place, to feel a sense of momentum, to feel a sense of progress, to feel like you're moving forward and that you're seizing the day or taking control of your life back. And I think that there's so many things that I have learned personally are very misguided about that. First and foremost, like, I'm not in control of my life necessarily. Like, I think I'm in control of my behaviors, of my actions, but my life has largely unfolded because of things that I've done, and also things that like other people have done. I think that to assume that, my life is going the way it's supposed to go when I'm in control is just a narrative that skews the logic of reality. And I think in reality, a lot of outcomes, if not the majority of outcomes, especially those big ticket outcomes, are beyond our realm of control. And it doesn't mean that we don't work towards achieving specific things or work towards goals or work towards accomplishments, but it does mean that we don't allow ourselves to put too much attention on what is beyond our realm of control. In my life, I've realized is largely beyond my realm of control. I mean, I can do different things that will help me to achieve the things that I want, but actually achieving that, I mean, that's something that I'm gonna figure out, or it's gonna transpire, or it won't in the future, right? It's beyond my realm of control. And I think with that understanding, I have learned to put my attention where it's best suited, and that's with what's right in front of me, and with the work that I'm trying to accomplish, and with the incremental steps that I can actually achieve by putting my attention, my focus on what it is that I need to do in this present moment, and not being too forward looking and allowing myself to ruminate on outcomes that are too far ahead for me to touch, manipulate, or control. And also recognize that, like, life is not for me to touch, manipulate, and control. It's for me to live, right? And living means trying. It means putting my energy out there. It means getting the relay back and then pivoting as a response to the relay between myself and the world around me. And I think that that's really important. And it's a mindset shift as well. Like, I have always been fairly type A, fairly structured, fairly controlling about the majority of things in life. And I've realized that it was a fallacy, right? And I think a lot of it was me ignoring the signals and the signs that were a demonstration of like my lack of control of certain things, and just being so focused on the things that gave me a sense of control that I allowed myself to feed an illusion of control over like my life and the evolution of my life. And I think once we break away from like the typical conventional milestones, we start to realize that our life is really about the exchange, the relay between different personalities, and that will dictate the evolution or the trajectories that we take. And we still have ownership over the trajectories that we are pushing towards. How it all translates is really not something that we can control. And I think that that is freedom. I think that that is freedom if we look at it from a different vantage point, if we recognize that a mindset of it is what it is and it will be what it will be is the best way to just focus on where our attention is going, and being very mindful that our attention is not focusing on outcomes that are beyond our realm of control, and allowing ourselves to spiral because we are recognizing to what extent we have no control. I mean, whether you recognize you have no control or not, you don't have control. So it's just better to accept it right out of the gate, let go of needing to have that control, and allowing your attention to focus on, the present moment and on what's right in front of you. And I think that this has helped me so much in the cases where I find my attention being split between future events and future outcomes that mean a lot to me and what's right in front of me. And the best way to work towards those future events, those future outcomes, is to really focus your attention on what's right in front of you and not allow too much of your attention to be encroached upon or to be cannibalized by future outcomes beyond our reach at this present point. And the last point that I want to make, and I think this is such an important point, and it's philosophical, and a lot of us might scrunch our nose and be like, okay, Rochelle, like, you're an optimist. And I'm not an optimist, actually. I'm a realist, and I do believe that when life starts to feel a little bit out of control and we are on the receiving end of a lot of just like discouraging and very difficult situations, especially, it's in those moments that we realize, or that I've realized personally, that happiness is a choice. And happiness isn't based on circumstance. And I can tell you that from experience, that I have had the opportunity to choose to be happy despite really, jarring life events. Like, I'm a live your best life YOLO kind of human being, and that comes with lots of highs and lots of really beautiful experiences, and me building confidence based on experience and based on action and based on where I've put my time and attention. But it has also involved me taking a lot of hits. Like, when I say life has beaten me up a few times, it really has. But I don't think that people look at me and recognize to what extent I have really, been dealt the hard knocks of life, because I choose to be happy. And I choose to be happy regardless of the situation, regardless of the circumstance, because that's a lens that I feel fuels hope and fuels the progress that I'm still hoping to attain, regardless of how kicked I've been or regardless of how down I feel at certain points. And it's interesting because you would think, well, if you feel down, then you're not happy. And I'm like, I can feel down because that feeling is being elicited by the circumstance that I'm in, but then I'm choosing to be happy. So I'm choosing to address feeling down as opposed to staying in that state. So I address it by giving myself something to be happy about, or by choosing happiness, choosing to focalize on things that draw out happiness from me, regardless of my situation and circumstance. I mean, we always have that choice, and it's important, especially when it comes to our mental wellness, to choose carefully. So those are the words of wisdom I want to impart on you today. Happiness is a choice. We can choose to be in a constant or steady state of worry, and I'm telling you, there's so much going on in the world around us that worrying seems to be the logical choice in many cases, but I don't think it's the choice that really does contribute to our well-being. And recognizing that you always have an alternative choice. Just because there are things to worry about doesn't mean you stay worried, stay feeling stressed, stay feeling anxious, and stay feeling like life is beyond my realm of ability to cope. And I think we can always cope. It's just best to choose the right mechanisms so that we're coping in a healthy way and we're coping in a way that's in alignment with our well-being. In any case, that's our conversation for today. Hopefully it was helpful. Hopefully it was insightful to you, and I would really love to hear your point of view on everything. And before letting you go, I would be remiss if I didn't let you know that we will be going live at least twice a month, every month for the foreseeable future on our Facebook page. So definitely be sure to join us there. Now, these events are paid events. They are facilitated in such a way where we are cultivating the critical thinking and the life skills to derive more meaning and fulfillment out of life. And if you do see yourself engaging and participating in our community on an ongoing basis, then might I suggest our package plans. So we do have package plans that we offer that provide you not only unlimited access to our live events, but also access to the webinars and workshops that we offer over and above those live events. So definitely be sure to tune in for that. And I am so happy that you were able to stay with me up until this point. If you're still here, subscribe to our channel, subscribe to our social media channels. We have them linked in the description down below. Follow us, help us grow, and we look forward to engaging with you in our next segment. We'll see you soon.
I just feel like no one's listening.